Good evening. Sitting here with JohnnyC. We're going to talk a little bit about his background, where he was born, where he went to school, up until right before he went into the military. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you were born.
Well, I was born in Philadelphia. Shortly afterwards, my family moved to Yonkers, New York. That's where my father was from. He had gotten a job as a carpenter through a friend of his. Growing up in Yonkers was great. It was really great. I guess around 10 years old or so, we moved from there, and we moved back to Philadelphia, which was where my mother was from.
Okay.
And
What brought you back?
my father was offered a job and transferred into Local 8, the Carpenters Local in Philadelphia. So we moved to Southwest Philadelphia. Great neighborhood. Just was a good place to grow up as well. And we were there for several years, not long. And my father was doing really well working, so we moved up in the Northeast. They were building new homes up there in Rambler Park and Parkwood. I went to Our Lady of Calvary first, and then from Our Lady of Calvary, because St. Anselm's wasn't finished yet, the school, I went there and I did 7th and 8th grade out of there. And then it was off to Father Judge High School, which I didn't do very good there because I didn't go that much, and they frowned upon that. But I walked out of there in 10th grade. I just walked out, and I vowed never to go back because I didn't want school to interfere with my education. I mean, what did I know? But Vietnam was going hot and heavy. I knew sooner or later, my time was going to come. When I became 19, I figured I'm going to just go down and push my draft up, take my chances. So that's what I did.
So you enlisted before you were drafted?
Yes, I did. 2 years. 2 years. Matter of fact, when I went down and I signed up, I got my letter shortly after. And I remember the day I went, because the day I went is the day you leave. You go off to to basic training, wherever that would be, depending on whatever they needed. I thought I was going in the Army. That's what I thought. So I remember being there, and we were all getting physicals done, this, that, whatever. You're walking around your socks and your underwear from one station to another, and out of the blue, here comes this guy, all dressed in this Marine garb stuff. He looked like a bulldog. And he come out yelling, you, and you, and he's pointing to people. And he pointed to a guy behind me and like 2 or 3 in front of me, and he goes, "Congratulations, you're now in the United States Marine Corps." I went, "Oh man, I'm glad he didn't get me," So, yeah, that was the induction center as far as getting ready to go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
For basic training?
For basic training, yes. And when we got there, it was crazy. Pull up on the bus, and drill sergeant gets on the bus, starts yelling and cursing and screaming and hollering, and something about he owns the bus and I'll get off it and this, that, whatever. But I thought it was kind of comical, a lot of the stuff. Basic training I thought was easy. Yeah, getting up early was a little rough, but I got used to that. But I just thought it was easy, and I maxed the physical proficiency test. I got a 500, and aside from that, I wound up being trainee of the cycle. Over hundreds of guys who were there training, I was the top trainee of the cycle. But early in the training, I was given an Article 15 for sleeping on fire watch, and I didn't fall asleep on fire watch. The guy who was supposed to relieve me, and I did wake him up, and I did watch him get dressed and stand up, because that's what you're supposed to do, make sure he's up, standing. He was caught sleeping, and he said that he was never wakened, and my DI didn't like me that much because I was a brash kid from Philly, and he more or less went along giving me the Article 15, but I think he was a little disappointed when he found out that I was going to wind up being trainee of the cycle, because it sure would have looked good for him. But next thing you know, I'm on my way to go to AIT, and we had about a week to go before we were going to go to our next training, which is AIT, Advanced Individual Training. Well, one of the clerks, who was a permanent party at Fort Bragg, said he had a list that would tell what everybody was going to be once they left basic training. And he looked my name up and he said, "You're going to be a medic." And I went, "Oh man, I can't be a medic. I'm deathly scared of needles." So, but lo and behold, I found out that he was wrong, and I became a 95B10, which I didn't know what the hell it was until somebody told me, "You're going to be a military policeman." I went, "Wow, dream sheet. Now I got to get the other part of that, Hawaii."
So we're going to stop there. Thank you, and we're going to do part 2. Next, the ATP training.
AIT.
AIT training. We're going to go into that, and then en route to Vietnam. Thank you.